Okay, so the good news is that worked. So this is the second video. So we were just talking about yeah, my salt shaker that's holding up my phone. We were just talking. Rob was talking about his mom going through treatment, or actually that she didn't go through treatment. That she had surgery to remove both of the things, and I had talked about. Or at least I'm not sure if I posted it or not, but there's essentially two types of cancer. There's blood cancer that affects the blood tissue, and then there's an actual tissue cancer like skin cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, etc. And the general prescribed treatment options are chemotherapy, surgery, or radiation. If it's a tissue cancer, then they can get away with sometimes. Thank you very much. They can get away with sometimes doing. Just taking that cancerous tissue out, and then sometimes they'll do radiation or whatnot. But it's pretty wild that she just got the surgery and no treatment. Did she do like nutritional intervention? Did she do like
Quit smoking.
Yeah,
That was the biggest thing.
smoking is pretty big.
Yeah.
And so she wasn't. So did she quit smoking the first time, or she quit smoking the second time?
I think it might have been the second time.
The second time.
Yeah, I think it may have been the second time. Not positive, but I think it was after the second time.
Smoking's tough, man. My mom has been a lifelong smoker, and obviously, I'm going through cancer, and her boyfriend right now is going through cancer, and you would think that would be enough of a smack in the face. While I'm talking to you right now, you would think that would be enough of a smack in the face to say, hey, you know what, maybe you shouldn't smoke, but smoking's a hell of a thing. What was that thing in cocaine's a hell of a drug? Remember that? What show was that?
Chappelle Show.
Chappelle Show. And it was
Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
And he was they interviewed anyway. Smoking's a hell of a thing. I just was I think the biggest thing in cancer is everybody thinks that all cancers are the same. So people think like, oh, you have cancer. Oh, well, that just means that skin cancer is the same thing as breast cancer, and it's not. It's different. It's totally different. So lymphoma, Hodgkin's lymphoma is different than non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Is different than colon cancer. Is different than breast cancer. They all have different treatment options, and they all have different ways that you can deal with it. I would love to not have to go through chemotherapy, and that if they could just do surgery to get rid of what I have, that would be fantastic, because chemotherapy is like the worst thing that you can go through. So how did you deal with both your parents in the hospital? Why was your dad in the hospital?
So he had a lot of stress from my mother's situation.
Stress, number one killer.
Yeah, so he was in there for stress-related things. I don't know, it was one of those things where my nightly routine was go to the hospital and see one parent, and then I would basically go see my mother and then go back to him and tell him how she was doing, because he was worried about her. So I was taking care of both my parents.
So your dad couldn't even go and like see your mom?
Not at first. It's probably about a week until he could.
Wow.
Maybe not quite that long, but it was a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So on the day of her surgery, he was already in the hospital, so I brought her to the hospital and got her into basically until she was ready to go to the operating room, and then
Oh, I don't know yet. I'll let you know. Yeah.
and then
Great, thanks.
and she went in and she came out, and when she came out I was there and got the report, and then went back and told him.
So did they do a PET scan afterwards? How do they know that? Like, does she have to go back in for a scan every year? Like, what's the?
Yeah, she has to get constant. I'm sure it's yearly, but she did have to have a mastectomy.
Yeah.
So, it was a little more than just that one operation. She had to go back and
Yeah, like what exactly is involved? I mean, I have no idea what's involved.
basically taking body fat from another part of the area and forming breast tissue, or forming a breast.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You can choose not to have that done and just have one breast.
Yeah.
Again, we were just talking a little bit ago about kind of like the appearance thing and people getting self-conscious, and I think that was probably part of it. She just wanted to feel normal, so She's like, probably thought if I don't have two breasts, I'm not going to feel normal, so I might as
Sure.
well just get the mastectomy.
Yeah.
Some people choose not to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's. I mean, I've had some people that have actually shown me, like, hey, this is what I got. And so yeah, definitely. It's kind of wild, but whatever.
Yep.
So, how many, like, what was the process? When she found out that she had cancer, and the doctor said, well, we think that you should, go through chemotherapy. We're going to do surgery, and she had elected not to go through chemotherapy. So, what kind of timeline was that? From the time that she found out that she had cancer to the time that she was done with everything, how long did it take?
The recovery, I think for the colon cancer, it was so long ago. I can't quite remember. As far as the breast cancer, it was pretty quick. I mean, she was probably in and out of the hospital for, I'm gonna say, at least a few months. She had a tube that she had to have, draining fluid from her that she would have to go get.
I had that. It sucks.
Cleaned and whatever. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe weekly or.
She had that in her for how long?
Oh, she went home with it.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was in for, I'm gonna say, at least a couple weeks.
Oh my God. I had it for a day and it sucked.
Yeah.
Well,
it
was like a little bit, a day and a half, and it sucked.
Yeah, and that was just to make sure that all the stuff was gonna drain and wouldn't cause infection and all that stuff.
Oh man, that's crazy. But she's good now. She's healthy now.
Healthy now.
So how has, when she first developed colon cancer, how did that affect you after she was done? Like, did you make any changes? Did it? Obviously, we're both in the health profession. So, is that some motivation to get you into the health profession? Was that kind of,
Yes and no. At the time, no, because I was at an age where, oh yeah, she got this, and I'm not gonna get that because I'm gonna make sure I don't get that. But later down the road, I don't think I had any really bad habits to begin with, aside from the occasional soda or whatnot.
just being too sexy, really?
Yeah,
I mean, that's.
But as I got into the health profession or fitness training, and started hearing more and more about all these diseases, and you hear about plant-based diets and how dietary changes can really affect not only recovery but inflammation and disease prevention and all that stuff. So I'd say within the past probably 5 years, I started thinking about it more and trying to control what I ate and make sure it's quality stuff. I've since limited my intake of red meat, for better or worse.
Really?
Not quite sure on how.
Interesting. So how often do you have red meat?
Maybe once a week now.
Do you miss it?
Yes and no. I like to grill in the summer, and I like steak tips just like everyone else does. I don't necessarily avoid them, and I'll get them if I want them, but for the most part right now, it's a lot of fish and chicken.
Was it fish and chicken?
Fish and chicken. Yeah. I never ate fish a lot when I was younger, and I just found out that I actually liked it, and started trying different types of fish, and now it's just something I eat probably 3-4 nights out of the week.
So why the pulling away meat? Is it? I mean, are your dietary decisions influenced by the fact that your mother had cancer twice?
I say a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it, and part of it, just trying to be healthy. You hear all this talk about red meat, and it's all studies. You don't know what study is going to be the most accurate. There's a lot of information out there.
No doubt.
So I just figured I'd try it. So far,
So far, so good, huh?
So far, so good, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, you
never
don't
really do know.
No, you don't know, and that's people will talk about cancer and they refer to cancer as kind of, again, all cancers. Like, oh, well, this is going to be good. This helps prevent against all cancers, and there's very few things out there that actually prevent against all cancers. Every single one of us has cancer in our body. It's just that our immune system does a great job of fighting it off. And killing it, so that we don't have to worry about it. And sometimes some crazy shit happens and our immune system misses something, and then you end up in a situation like with Ralph's mom and like what's going on with me right now. We got rid of our grill. That was a big thing. That was a big change that we made. Was we got rid of the grill. You know, there are so many different research studies out there that say, well, don't eat this, and don't eat that, and this causes cancer, and that causes cancer. And if you look at all those things, then you're basically not going to eat anything, you know, except maybe like kale and lettuce. And you're going to take like 75 supplements a day, and you're going to stay out of the sun, and you're basically going to be like a miserable hermit that lives in a cave, you know, tending to their kale and lettuce garden. So, you know, like there's like, how do you kind of weed through all that? And I'm hoping that we're going to give you guys that information over the course of the next however long, so that I am going to look into that stuff, and I am going to say, okay, well, this has 10 research studies that says all cancers, and this has 5 research studies that says specific cancers, and so this is kind of the all cancer stuff that you should be doing. Red meat definitely gets a hit for red meat. I don't necessarily know the research on it. I know there's research out there. Like all research, there's an equal amount of research to support doing something as there is to support not doing something. So it's a decision that, you know, you have to make. For Ralph, it was really easy. He said, hey, I'm going to cut red meat out, no big deal. I'm going to put seafood in and chicken in. Everybody could probably benefit from more seafood. And most likely everybody could benefit from less red meat, I would say. Most likely. The grilling thing was a really big thing for us. There's 2 lifestyle changes that I'm really trying to make. You know, I don't eat a lot of vegetables. When performance is your goal and you're trying to build muscle, or you're trying to get to that, you know, 500-pound deadlift or whatever the case may be, veggies are not necessarily something that you really think about. Like, it's like, oh, what's a cup of carrots going to do for me tomorrow, right? Veggies are more of a health thing, but vegetables, as far as anti-cancer goes, is absolutely up there. Grilling is unfortunately one of those things that there's been a lot of research to support it, the charring of the meat and all that jazz. So we got rid of that stuff. Cool, man. Well, we ordered some breakfast. We're at the Lebanon Diner right now, and we have our breakfast sitting in front of us. So I wanted to get Ralph, because when he said that that he's been affected by cancer, and his mom had it twice, I thought it was really important to kind of get his point of view as a health professional, and having kind of dealt with somebody. Is there anything that you kind of want to that you want anybody listening to know, you know, as far as lessons that you learned from it, or anything else that you'd like to say, really?
Try to make, I guess, healthier choices. I mean, this is not a shameless plug because we're both trainers.
Right.
I mean,
hire a personal trainer and a nutritionist.
Like I said, she since quit smoking, my mother, and she started exercising. So hopefully all that stuff helps. Same thing though.
Did she exercise before?
No, not really. No, a little more now than she did. So try to, you know, be aware, I guess, is the best advice. You know, cancer is so prevalent, and there's reasons behind it. Everything has a reason, and it's hard to decipher what those reasons are. But if you stay current with studies and you know, just the research, you have a better chance of trying to be more healthy and try to avoid getting into a situation like that.
You do not want to be in this situation, I tell you what. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Ben Dearman, bendearman.net. Ralph Reggione. Your website? You need a website, bro.
I do need a website.
You need a website, bro. Thanks, guys.